Thank you. I was hoping I wouldn't be next because that's a really hard act to follow. Okay. This is a story about when I was 37 years old, and now this is 37 years later. So 37 years ago, in reference to karma, I had no freaking idea what it was. I was just a human being on the face of the earth. I was a mother. I was a wife. I was very, very unhappy. I was very sad. I was in a miserable, miserable marriage. It was terrible. And I had no idea that you could change anything. You just get up, you do it, and you just do automatic. It was sad, it was miserable. And nothing ever seemed to change. I had girlfriends that had happy marriages, and their husbands were not alcoholics and whatever. So one night when I was really feeling sad and sorry for myself, and I was lying on the sofa after I had a couple drinks myself, this ad came on and it said, "Is somebody's drinking affecting your life?" And I thought, that's it. That's what my problem is, you know? So I realized that I needed to get some help, so I went to a 12-step program for the families of people that have a drinking problem. And so, not knowing anything about karma, not knowing that my thoughts created my results, I did start to change just a little bit. I needed to change like 100%, and I only changed like 20%. Because I was still blaming my whole life on him and the marriage and whatever. I had to do a whole lot of changing, and I had no idea how to do that. So another night I'm laying on the floor, but by this time I'm seriously having a problem with a little tipping it a little too much. And my life is miserable and I'm very sad. And my back went out and I was in a tremendous amount of pain. I ended up going to this chiropractor. The chiropractor was a really sweet little man who was very kind and gentle. So because I was so sad and lonely and so very miserable, I had a little fling with the guy. I had no idea. I had no idea about spirituality. I didn't know that, you know, I knew it was a sin because I'm Catholic, but I had no idea. I had no idea that this would actually change my life. Well, he was a very wealthy person, and I was starting to feel the voice. I was starting to hear the voice in my head. It was stirring me. It was wanting me to be different. I wanted a different life. Not especially with him, but I wanted a different life. And not especially with the sad, miserable husband that never came home. So with the money that this man gave me, I asked him for a certain amount of money. I took this course called LifeSpring. Well, it was heavy duty, 100% diving into your feelings, your emotions. You had to change. You had to change whether you wanted to or not. Now, mind you, I knew nothing about karma. I knew nothing about changing. But I took this course because I knew that there was going to be a better life for me somewhere, but I didn't know where. And what I did in the course was what I was doing in my life. I just stood there and I watched. I was shut down. I didn't have any feelings. People were crying and they're beating pillows and doing all this friggin' work on themselves, and I'm thinking, oh, I just, you know. Okay. So the second night, this man says, "F this," and he walks out. That was my first awareness how stuck I was, because I didn't realize I could leave this friggin' course. It was hard. It was really hard. I mean, you were crying. They kept you up to 4 o'clock in the morning. They called you names. I mean, it was really, it changed my life, but I have to tell you, it was hard. But in that course, at the end of that course, they gave you 2 assignments. And one of my assignments was Earth Mother, because there's a part of me that's real soft and gentle. And the other assignment was I was a motorcycle mama, because I'm an Italian lady from North Philly, and I do know how to kick ass now that I found my voice. So in that class and in that workshop was the start of me changing my karma, because karma is, if you change your thoughts and your actions, you change the results in your life. And so when I graduated from that program, which I continued to do for about 2 more years, but I walked out of that program at 18th and Vine. I walked into that house with that sad, miserable alcoholic that I lived with, and I told him he would never, ever verbally abuse me again. Well, he stood up and he started to point his finger, and I'll never forget it. I can remember it as clear as day. And I just stood there and I looked, and my heart was pounding. I was scared, but the voice said, "You're okay. You're going to be okay." I walked away, and that was the start of me finding me. Within a year, I was in college. Within 5 years, I had 2 degrees. I started a business where I was helping people. I ended up really, really enjoying my life. And there came a point where, because of personal growth and because you have to change everything, you have to change your life, when I knew that my thoughts created my world, that I needed to get a divorce. It was the hardest thing I ever did. I had adult children. But what I did was I went on to become a therapist and a psychotherapist and a holistic health coach, and I helped people that were exactly where I was. And not only did I learn about karma, but I learned about spirituality, being gentle with myself, loving animals. I was afraid of dogs. And this morning I had the most wonderful thing happen if you talk about karma. A woman called me from 34 years ago. Now mind you, this is 37 years ago is when I changed. So I'm 72 now. And what happened was she called me this morning and she wanted to thank me for helping to change her life. Now she had taken a course with me back in 1982. I was a massage therapist and they didn't have massage schools then. So this is this morning when I want to tell my story tonight. And I just stood there and I thought, karma, oh my God, you know, here's this woman from, I had no idea who she was. But she, because of the training that she took with me, which was a month-long massage training, she decided that she was going to be a medical doctor. But when she went in to take the classes, she realized she couldn't do what they were teaching her. So she went off to be a naturopathic doctor, and now she helps a lot of other people. But that's what happened this morning, and so as far as karma goes, you know, what I learned was that my thoughts create my world, and what I wanted to do was I wanted to help people, but I had to help myself first. And I got into Al-Anon, I got into AA, I became a massage therapist, I did a rebirthing course, and all of my life, everything I've ever done, I always end up teaching it and teaching it to other people. And it's made my life very fulfilled. And now I do know what karma is, so I have to watch my thoughts every day. And I decided that I wanted to write a book, and the book was going to be called But They Didn't Friggin' Tell Me. And then I realized that if I called the book What They Didn't Friggin' Tell Me, is I wouldn't be taking responsibility for my life, because I had to go through everything I went through to learn what I did. So I am still going to write the book, but I'm going to write it from a perspective of empowerment, not being a victim. So thank you. Can you take this off?